Medals there in the red shirt.
Eric loosened up. He knows the 33 hooks a little bit more than 34 in this 40-lane center. Should have a slight advantage in the early going over Traber.
Big strike for the winner of that first match. All right, let's get to know David Traber a little better. Right-hander, a 6-footer, 29 years old. Woodstock, Illinois is about an hour drive northwest of Chicago, sort of an hour from Milwaukee and an hour from the Loop. And he's smooth, and Bo, he doesn't waste any time when he pulls the trigger.
I agree. Watch his style here. This little shuttle four-step delivery of Dave Traber. Very conventional, what we used to see in the 60s and 70s. In a good shape here. Look at these feet, just driving straight forward, but not the big wrist cock. He could use a little bit more knee bend, but he's obviously a little nervous in the early shot. But he gets a tremendously heavy roll without the big hook, and it's a great shot under pressure. This guy gets his confidence. He could win more than one shot here.
Sliding by, and he'll have to face the 210 split on the left lane.
Second time we've seen the 210 this week. What he needs to do is get the head pin to the ball to the left of the 2-pin, drive the 2 into the 10.
After an opening strike, now an open frame for David Traber.
Traber using the full grip. Adoplhson using the full grip, just fingertip with his wrists cupped. Good solid turn.
Well, he flirted with the bucket before, leaving the 2-4-5 in his first game, which turned out to be a win over Mark Thayer, but now 2-4-5-8.
He hasn't been up high in the pocket yet today. Now he needs to get the ball once again between the 2-5 and drive out the 8. Got to guard against the chop and still carry the back 8-pin. For Eric, if he converts, it would be a 12-pin lead. If he misses, it's all even.
We're in our second game. Coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, America's top young gymnasts experience the thrill of international competition as they meet Japan's best in the Dodge Challenge. And a world-class field of top female distance runners race through the streets of New York City in the Advil Mini Marathon. It's all next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Yuck.
Big trouble. That was his wildest shot so far today, cutting through the middle, as he has 35 through the second frame. And what's he going to do? There's two schools of thought. The best way to make it is to shoot over in the 4-7 zone and drive the 4 over into the 6-9-10 like that. However, you give up a lot of count if you happen to miss. Let's see where he's going. Just went for the pin count, Chris. He didn't really go for the conversion. It gives him 43 in the third. He trails by 5. A great break for Traber, just sitting on the bench.
Traber third last week in Earl Anthony's PBA Open in Dublin. Lots of power. David Traber says a family support system has been key to his tour success.
Well, I always wanted to come out on tour, and then I got married, and my wife was at home for half a year, and she said, I want to come out there, and I want to be with you, and I think it's helped me a lot because she's there backing me, and she's out here. We can do a lot of things together. I don't have to call up home, and I can, and she's out here. You know, it's really good for me.
Yes, takes a little teamwork.
Watch the head pin, the first pin that the ball will impact. It almost carries out the 10. It goes to the left sideboard, dances across the lane, just misses the 10 pin with a conversion here. Traber lead by 5.
Okay. In our 30th anniversary season, our hit parade from 30 years ago musically continues with Strangers on the Shore. Seattle, Washington, Skyway Park Bowl, second game. The first been won by Eric Adoplhson over Mark Thayer. Here he is. He is trailing by 5 in the second game. But sets himself up now to double here and regain the lead. He's going against David Traber of Woodstock, Illinois. Bo?
Thank you, Chris. Harry Sullins, you're the only winner in this field. That's got to be a great feeling and a tremendous advantage. What do you feel? 2 games to win.
Well, I look at it just like Las Vegas earlier this year. 2 games to win, seeded second, and you make good, clean, crisp shots, and hopefully you can send a couple of those messengers across, carry a few strikes, and that'll be the difference for Terry.
He looks like he's already got a game plan, Chris. Back to you.
All right, and Adoplhson has doubled here to take a 5-pin lead over David Traber. Watch this reaction. Okay. Now, with the spare up shooting in the 5th frame, here's David Traber. Averted, leaving only the 4-7. 29-year-old who loves stock car racing and loves to restore cars like a 66 Chevelle 396, which he's done. And here's Melissa. That allows him to have his toys. That handsome profile just got in there. Was that of Frank Esposito, who's been with us all 30 anniversary years? He's our coordinator.
And the money so far this year, Eric Forkel down to Robert Lawrence, 5th with 72,000. Bruce Hamilton, who is from this area, won earlier in the year, 54,000. And a struggling Dave Traber out here in the 6th frame. He's just not maintaining his form. Now, Traber bowls much differently than the other 4 players out here. Traber likes to start the ball what we call in the drier part of the lane, about the 4th or 5th board. Let it get an early roll, then hold the pocket or keep it in the pocket with speed. Right now, he's varying his speed. He threw it slow on the right lane and too hard on the left. He's in a little bit of trouble.
During the week, in his 2 times crossing this championship pair, he averaged 242. Then this again is live television.
Well, he's not out of it. Eric has bowled quite well, but he only leads by 9 pins through 5 frames, can make it 19, 6th frame, early going.
Again, he's strung a 3 at about the same point as he did against Mark Thayer in the first match, which he won 225 to 205. Second game, next up will be the man that Bo just talked to, Harry Sullins.
Ted Glatke, a touring player out here who is a college teammate of Eric, said that Eric has one basic problem when he gets off. He gets his feet too fast on the way to the foul line. He either dumps the ball or goes over the top. If he can stay behind it, he's very tough.
Oh.
That's shortchanged on that hit. Solid 10. Now, all these players that we had so far do not change bowling balls for the spare shot. They use a pretty good cupped wrist and a pretty good hook on their first ball and flatten the shot out to the 10. Let's watch what Eric does. The full grip, spreads the index finger. Now he'll flatten that wrist out with a cross-lane shot. Not flat enough. He almost missed that 10 pin to blow the top 5 last night, Chris, and here it happens today. In his very last frame against Parker Bowen, on the same lane, he just barely nicked it to make the top 5. Now he's blowing it here today.
All right, we're in our second match, a close one, like our first one. So,
plus top female distance runners take to the streets of the Big Apple. All next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
here in our first of 8 Saturday afternoon telecasts, this man is trailing by 6 pins. His name is David Traber, Woodstock, Illinois. High hit, and so another split.
Dave seems completely confused on the right-hand lane. He threw that ball very confidently, expected the ball to set up for a strike. It hooked through, he leaves the 4, 6, 7. The best he can do is try to knock out the 4, 7 here. If he does so, he trailed by 20 pins.
Another open frame for David Traber, who was one of 5 to have perfect 300 games this week. The others being Ray Edwards, Joe Firpo, Robert Lawrence, and Kelly Kaufman.
Now, Dave Traber, with a much straighter shot than the other 4 players, takes a quite a bit different position on the lane. We'll see where he is. See, he's over here in the right-hand corner. He'll walk up in this area and almost be perfectly straight. Little drift, boom, right over the first arrow. And right now, Chris, I think he's in the panic mode. He's just throwing balls to the back end and hoping something good will happen, and that will not cut the mustard out here on the tour. The best Traber can do is 190 if he spares here and throws 4 strikes. Eric is going 190 pace.
Totally disgusted with what's happening to him, whether he caused it or not, or whether the lane conditions, whichever.
Well, you must adjust as you go along. There's no golden rule that says lanes are going to stay the same and just wait for you. You have to make the adjustments. And that is the key and the big difference between being a top player and an also-ran out here on the tour.
Well, they're showing some maturity. Eric Adoplhson, who comes back, he had a triple, then an open frame, and now a strike in the important 8th, and he moves to the left side.
Quote from Eric before we went on the air. Under pressure, I do my best when I fire it hard. Right now, he can just about lock up the match with a key strike. Let's see what speed he uses and how aggressive he becomes.
All right, big 9th frame. The former PBA Commissioner Joe Antonora suffered a personal loss this week when his 84-year-old mother, Carolyn, passed away in Sandyville, Ohio. His son, Art, was sympathy. It comes from the PBA players and all of us at ABC.
Dave Traber just did not have it today. Somewhat like a baseball pitcher who's been pitching well week after week, goes out and just doesn't have it on the mound. David was too hard, too soft, left, right, up and down. Just a struggling match. He'll end up with a 4th place check. All secondary. No matter what he gets, he's going to lose. Eric has won his 2nd consecutive match. He will really get tested against PBA champion in the number 2 position, Harry Sullins.
You know, David really wanted to win today because he has an uncle racing at Hales Corner in Wisconsin tonight with a stock car. He wanted to make it a Traber double. That'll have to wait.
Well, David can end up with 157. Obviously, score in the championship round is really just whether you win or lose. The score is not important. A win, David, will have to be on another day. 146. Couldn't make his spares today.
That's like you've often told me, Bo, you bowl all spares in 190.
Well, that's very true. If you get 9 on the first ball, and the 9-pin spares are a lot easier than the 2.58s and 2.578s that he's been leaving. Possible 220 for Eric right here if he can finish with strikes.
Orphan.
Adoplhson with this spare would be 199, would have a 50-pin victory.
Meanwhile, Harry Sullins continues to stay loose. He's the Detroit right-hander. Interesting guy.
Harry over there practicing spares on the side. I think that he realizes that the downfall of the first 2 opponents have been missing spares.
So it's 199 to 146. This week, Bo Burton takes a tip from tour veteran John Mazzone.